guys, welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be my daughter's 5th grade curriculum hits, misses, and so-sos. If you're new to my channel, hi, my name's Nicole. I'm a homeschooling mom with 2 kids at home. I have a daughter who's 10 who just finished her 5th grade year, and my son is 4 doing a little bit of preschool work. All right, guys, as I was preparing all the curriculum to do this video, I realized in addition to hits and misses category, I needed another category that would satisfy the curriculum that I didn't love, but I also didn't dislike. So that's where my so-so category comes in. Also, I thought it would be good to ask my daughter what her favorite curriculum was for the year. I love hearing about not only what us as teachers feel about curriculum, but also the kids. I know that kids don't always love every subject, so we may not always be in alignment with it, but I thought that would be helpful. However, my daughter's hit pile was pretty big, which I was really happy about. It's nice to know that not only was she learning, but she enjoyed most of her curriculum. So I had her narrow that down. So she categorized this as the curriculum that she looked forward to. So I will also, as I go through the hits, misses, and so-sos, I'll let you know if my daughter's opinion was different than mine on those. I do want to say before I start that just because a curriculum worked or didn't work for us doesn't mean that it will work or not work for you. Every child, every family, every homeschooling style is different. So I think these videos are so valuable because they give us different viewpoints on how curriculum worked. But again, this is no offense if I say a curriculum is a miss that you love. This is just what worked for us in our homeschool. Okay, so my daughter's #1 favorite was history, which is her favorite subject. My mom does teach that, and this year she did the social studies full year bundle for grade 5, and the Teacher Pay Teachers store is called, I believe, Thrive in grade 5. I'll link it below for you. But her favorite was the 13 colonies. This curriculum does have worksheets, does have hands-on projects that kind of align with my daughter's likes. Let me show you something that she did recently to kind of give you an idea. So she just really likes it, and this was her #1 hit. So after that, my daughter had 2 that tied for next place, and that was the Anna Green Gables unit that we did with Hearth Magic. This was so much fun. I've talked about this a lot, so I won't regurgitate it here. But this was fun. It had activities, it had discussion questions, it had recipes, everything you could ask for. I'm going to do a full review on that. But this guide and this book were just dynamite together, and I was glad to see how much she loved it as well. So her tie for first place or second place was also this Martin Luther King unit we did. I did a whole video on this. It was wonderful. We loved it, and it was awesome. So awesome. But it was so nice to know that not only did I love it, but she also got a lot out of it. She told me that this curriculum made her walk away and look at the world differently. So that was really cool to hear. She also loved, almost as much as the Anna Green Gables and Martin Luther King unit, the Roll of Thunder Hear My Cry unit, which we did directly after Martin Luther King. She said she loved this. This is one of the things she still thinks about often, so that made me happy. This was a great unit. I do talk extensively about it, I believe, in my February and March updates, if you're interested. Okay, another favorite for my daughter was this Hey Girl Mindful Coming of Age Journal for Girls. This just has activities, it has prompts, it has different things where it's actually talking to the child. And so this was just something she did on her own every day. Now, I do have a lot of mental health and puberty things that we did throughout the year. Some of them I'll be touching on here, but otherwise it was just going to be too much. So I recently did a video on the mental health and puberty books that we've done so far, and I talk about everything in there. If you're interested in more details on this and any other mental health stuff that I discuss in this video, as well as things that I just couldn't put in because it'd be too much. Okay. The next thing that she loved that was her favorites was poetry. She loved this book, Where the Sidewalk Ends by Shel Silverstein. She said it was odd, weird, and funny, which she said is right up her alley. So she loved it so much that we got A Light in the Attic, which is another book by Shel Silverstein. If you've never seen inside of it, she tagged her favorites. That's why you have all these flags. It's just very unusual, but very interesting poetry with a lot of interesting graphics. So she loved that. Her other favorite was Animal Poetry by National Geographic. This really didn't come as a surprise to me. It's beautiful. The pictures are just gorgeous. I mean, no matter how old you are, you're never going to get tired of looking at pictures like that. So she really loved this, and we're getting the nature poetry for 6th grade year to follow up with this. Okay, her last thing that she put in her favorites was word ladders. She loves word ladders. I knew this would make it on the list. This is just a word study that helps them boost, as it says, reading, vocabulary, spelling, and phonics. You just have a page. We're not quite done. We're finishing this up in 6th grade. And you just have little definitions here, and you just build on itself till you get to the end. This is great. She loves it. We're finishing this up in 6th grade. All right, now that we have done my daughter's favorites, let's start on the hits. Everything she mentioned was also a hit for me, in case I didn't mention that. So this first hit will come as no surprise to anybody. Writing and rhetoric, we did level 1 and 2 this year. This was a hit for me and a definite hit for my daughter. This almost made it on her favorites. I've already done a review on level 1, and level 2 should be out here in the next week or so. So awesome curriculum. This is a writing curriculum that I feel like has just been amazing. I could go on and talk about it forever and ever, but definitely check out those videos for more details if you're looking for a writing curriculum. Okay, another hit was the Modern Speller. I've gone into this in detail, so I won't go too much into it. This is our spelling program. We use it for copywork and dictation, which I have found is the best way for my daughter to retain spelling. What I absolutely love about this program, first it goes through 1st through 6th year. It'll mention up here, and it splits it into half years. What I love about it is these paragraphs are short, but they're packed full of complex words. They break up the words that they think the child might have difficulty in to figure out how to spell it better or memorize it in their mind. This has been so amazing. Short, simple, it works. You could also use this for vocabulary. We have used this for vocabulary as well. And this is a free resource online. Okay, the next hit is this Sentence Combining Bell Ringers. This is a program where you have several sentences that you're going to give to your child, and then your child is going to have to take these sentences and make it into 1 or 2 complex and compound sentences. This, in conjunction with writing and rhetoric, I feel like is what has improved my daughter's writing so much this year. So definitely a hit in my book. All right, the next hit was Beowulf's Grammar. We finished this year. We started it midway through 4th grade. I love this curriculum. I do have some thoughts on it. I will be making a full review on this hopefully within the next month or so, but definitely if you need a fun, creative, hands-on grammar for your younger children, this is a perfect introduction. Now, my next favorite may not come as any surprise to you if you have watched any of my recent videos, but I loved this reading log book that we did for 4th and 5th grade. So every book she read independently or we read together, she included in this log. It was a 2-page spread of information that she had to go over and include. She didn't love it as much because she didn't like the 2-page spread, and sometimes she was into it and sometimes she wasn't. But I ended up getting her a new one for this year that she was really excited about. It's only 1 page per book, and she's already put 2 books in there and did it on her own and did a really good job in it. So I think maybe I should have switched after 4th grade and given her something new to look forward to, but this was a definite hit for me and an okay for my daughter, but I love it. Okay, another hit for me that was also a hit for my daughter was Mostos Press Literature. We finished the Ruby level, which is level 4 this year, and we also started on Coral, which is their level 5, and we'll be continuing on. This is a literature program that uses awesome stories that teach character building, integrity, and it has reading comprehension, it has vocabulary, it has deep questions, Socratic questions, deeper thinking, critical thinking questions. It has tons of creative writing projects in here, other fun projects. This is a great curriculum. We have not been using it as much recently since we've been doing book studies. And it was funny because when we were getting everything ready for this video, my daughter saw this and she's like, I miss this. I want to do this. And I'm like, we're still going to do it. She's like, can we do this during the summer? It's like, all right. If my daughter is asking you to do something during the summer, then that is definitely a win in my book. So that's a hit. Okay. So another hit is her cursive copywork that she does. This is the US president. So what's cool about this is each page of copywork is just about a different president, and she will write it in this notebook and she'll just copy it all. And it's been going great. She really, really enjoys it. So I feel like copywork has helped her handwriting, has helped her spelling so much. So definitely recommend copywork. Okay, so another hit for my daughter is French. She learns French with my mom. I made a whole video with my mom on how she teaches it and the curriculum. She also has a teacher pay teacher storage open now with some of the resources that she used for my daughter. So my daughter said this was a hit for her. She does enjoy it and she is learning a lot. So this has been great. Okay, so the next hit for us was geography. So for geography, we used Traveling the World by Waldock Way. However, we only used it for one of our units. We did 3 units this year. We did Antarctica and the Arctic, we did Greenland, and we did Canada. And I only used the Waldock Way's Traveling the World for Canada because she doesn't include anything for Greenland and the polar regions. So I did put this in my hit category for what I did use. I did use some of her book references and for Canada, but I haven't used a ton of it at this point, but I do plan on using it throughout the years, and I did like what I used. Now, if you're interested, I have a World Geography 1 video where I go over everything we did for the 5th grade. I go in detail on everything we did for these 3 units. I also have a geography video on how I organize it, and I will shortly, probably within a month, maybe less, come out with a new World Geography video where I have a ton of new resources I use and everything I'm using for the 6th grade, just to let you know. But that was a hit. The Antarctica study went in the favorites for a minute and then came out, and then went in the favorites and then came out. So that kind of lets you know where it lies. All right, hits for me was math, our primary mathematics standard edition with Wisdom Wonder Project video subscription. Awesome together. I love that video subscription. That is the reason that I use this curriculum, if I'm honest. I needed to find a video subscription. My daughter didn't want to learn from me. I went through a lot of different video subscriptions and showed my daughter the samples. Wisdom Wonder Project is the one that she liked. We finished 4B last year. We're almost done with 5A, and she'll start 5B next year. I love it. She said this is a so-so for her only because she doesn't like math. So she could never imagine any math curriculum being a hit, but she does like Word Wisdom Project. So another one that was a hit for me is this Mastering Times Tables program. I've talked about this a lot. This is cheap on Teacher Pay Teachers. I've gone into detail, but it's just essentially goes from 0 to 12. You just have worksheets like this, and what it does is it starts out simple, like 3 times 3, 3 times 4, 3 times 5 every day. She adds a little more onto that, like 6 times 6 one day, 6 times 7 another day. So she's slowly, gradually building, and you do about 15 days per number. Last year we started with 3 and we've gotten through 7, and this has really helped her. It's slow and steady and it's awesome. So this is definitely a hit, and we're going to be continuing it, and I decided when we're done, we're just going to start it over again because you can never get enough multiplication facts practice. Okay, so hits for mental health. This mindful affirmations and activities workbook was definitely a hit for me. I used it a lot actually towards the end for copy work because it had a lot more quotes and sayings to the child than it does have activities. So we did this last summer a lot for copy work. We'll do probably a little bit of copy work maybe this summer. Definitely like it. Okay, so this empathy workbook for kids, this was a hit for me. I like this workbook a lot. We stopped because my daughter just kind of lost interest in it. She says this is a so-so, but I feel like this does have a lot of value to it. It does help teach empathy. I actually think I may reintroduce this to her, but we did get about halfway. This is definitely a hit for me and a so-so for my daughter. All right, so my last hit is this Big Life Journal for Kids. This is for ages 7 through 10. It comes with, if you want, you can buy just a journal, but it comes with a lesson plan and a podcast kit where you listen to a podcast, you do some activities while you're listening, and then you have a lesson plan that follows it up. It's made for homeschool or classroom. It's wonderful. You could just do this journal. Let me go to some pages she has it written on. You could just do the journal. You don't have to do everything else, but this has been a hit. I absolutely love what this has to offer. It's taken us a lot longer to go through, but it is phenomenal. It does have another program for 11 plus. However, this I think is just a great starting off point. My daughter loves it. Okay, I wouldn't say she loves it. She likes it. Sometimes when I pull it out to start it, she's like, but then as soon as she starts doing it, she really enjoys it. She always talks about what she learned. So definitely would recommend. All right, so now I'm gonna go on to my so-sos, the curriculum that we didn't love, but we didn't dislike either. So the first one on that list is spectrum vocabulary. I find like there's a lot of use in this. It's not the perfect curriculum, but it does have a lot of value and adds things to it that sometimes I feel like other vocabulary curriculums are missing. So I did enjoy this, and we may very well revisit this later in her middle school years. So the next one was daily academic vocabulary. As I was pulling this out, my daughter said she really did like it. She just didn't feel like she learned a ton from it, but she did enjoy it. I feel like I could have maybe tweaked it a little bit. I did go a different way for vocabulary next year, but I do like it. They go over like 4 words for you. They have activities for each one of those words. They have a lesson plan for you when they introduce the words, for you to introduce them to your child, which I thought was wonderful. It wasn't clicking, but I do like it. So that's why it is in the so-so pile. Okay. The other thing in the so-so pile was the weekly paragraph editing set. This is 2 different sets I got from Teacher Pay Teachers. She just goes through and edits different paragraphs. I had 2 different kinds. I liked these. I felt like she learned a lot from them. She didn't love it. She put it in her not like pile, but she didn't enjoy editing paragraphs after a while. I think it's because we did it so often, but I feel like there's a lot of value in it. The only reason that I did put this in the so-so is because my daughter didn't love it, but I loved it and I loved what it brought. The next so-so was the Good and the Beautiful Birds unit. We did 3 units with them this year. We did the marine biology first, then we did the weather, and then we ended with birds. This was a hit for my daughter because she loves birds. This was just so-so for me. I feel like it fell flat in some places. It did have some great things in other aspects of it. This and the marine biology was my favorite out of them, but it really just hit so-so. There was definitely some things that I would have liked to see in here that weren't, but my daughter did enjoy it. The next so-so you might imagine is marine biology. I don't have the actual course book. My friend is borrowing it, so I'm just going to show you this is what their student journals look like. My daughter said this was a hit for her. I would say this was definitely so-so. I did like the convenience, the open and go, but with all of the 3 units, I expanded them quite a bit and I added a lot more, which I actually have an in-detail video on my marine biology and my birds. And I feel like if I hadn't have done that, these would have felt a little flat for me. Now, my misses. And I feel like these are pretty consistent across the board with my daughter and I. So my first miss was the weather and wind unit by the Good and the Beautiful. My daughter was really bored through this. I felt like there was either too much information or too little information. I didn't feel like it covered subjects enough. We had covered weather in the beginning of 4th grade and she wanted to revisit it. And I just felt like this didn't teach her anything. And definitely the other 2 units we did were much better in my opinion. All right, guys, so the next miss was Spelling You See. We did Level F Part 1 last year. Now, the reason why this fell flat for me is because there was a lot of words on a page and the words were not very complex. Compared to the Modern Speller where it was shorter and you had a lot of complex words, you're just writing a lot and you're not really, like, none of these words are very difficult. I don't feel like maybe the levels are aligned correctly. I did really like the chunking portion of it, but everything else, she just was so tired by the end of it. She didn't want to do anything else. Now they have revamped their levels. I just saw. So I don't know if they've changed that, but I would love this program. If the paragraphs were shorter, if they had harder words in them, I think this would be perfect because I do love the chunking part of it. Okay. So a couple more misses. We've got word roots, the beginning level. I tried to start this twice with my daughter. She really didn't like it. It didn't work for her. I wanted it to work really bad, but it felt like busy work for her. She wasn't getting it. And I would say out of everything, this was the #1 thing that she did not like for 5th grade. So another miss for us was 200 and vocabulary words kids need to know. I think this would have been okay in my book. I would have put it in the so-so category. I feel like it was very similar to Spectrum, but my daughter really didn't like it. I honestly think it's because the words were so small and they were packing so much on a page. Like, look at word roots and then look at this. Like, it was very small. So I think that might have been part of it, but this was a miss for us. And the last miss was 100 days of time tests. Now, this was very similar to what my daughter's doing that did work for us. I don't know why. Sometimes I think you just need to switch up programs, but she despised this and this didn't work for us. So that is in the miss pile. All right, guys, that's it. If I forgot anything and there's something you're curious about or you want to know, please feel free to let me know in the comments. And I would love to know what worked for you, what didn't work for you. I just love hearing that kind of stuff. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.